Hello, everybody. How are you doing today? My name is Tony Rizzano, and this is another episode of the world famous, the universally loved, the best podcast in 1, 2, 3 galaxies. But ladies and gentlemen, you and I, we just call this show Online Marketing Moves, and we are coming to you live today. Today is December the 30th, 2023. Ladies and gentlemen, of course, I haven't recorded in a month. And of course, as soon as I decided I want to record, I was thinking last night when I was, I was thinking I got to record. I haven't recorded in a while during the holiday season. I haven't recorded anything. I didn't record an episode. And of course, I was trying to say something. I was like, am I going hoarse? And I said, oh, but of course, anytime that you want to do something, anytime you want to complete something, there's always going to be something that happens. It happens to me all the time. It's nothing new. And I said, you know what? We're gonna power right through this thing, and we're gonna make this the last episode of the 2023 season, of course. But I wanted to talk to you about something very important. And last month I recorded, and I think I can't remember when, but I kept looking down at the episodes, and I thought, man, we recorded 700 episodes of this program. 700 episodes, I never would have thought that I would produce that many podcast episodes, produce that much content, and then I got to thinking, and this is what we're going to talk about today, because sometimes you can throw yourself off. I got to thinking about 700 episodes, and the show, and where we're going, where we're headed, what's happening, what's going on, and I just kept thinking, and the first week I thought it was weird. I had this weird feeling. I was like, who am I to record 700 episodes of anything, And then I had this, and I thought, hey, come on, man, you recorded 700 episodes. That's pretty good. There's 700 more episodes inside of you. You can record more, but I guess the imposter syndrome kicked in, and sometimes it happens to all of us. Sometimes it happens to the best of us. Sometimes, you think to yourself, who am I to do X, Y, Z, ... whatever it is you want to do. You ever thought about writing a book, or you ever thought about you ever thought about writing a movie script, or you ever thought about being in the movies, or you ever thought about anything that you ever want to do that may seem out of the ordinary for you, and you get these feelings like, well, who am I, and as you and I both know, we are all somebodies. It doesn't matter. The world try to put a label on you, of course, because the world is lazy and people are lazy in general. So, you could be it doesn't matter. You could be a farmer. You could be a farmer who loves chess, and you could be a world-class champion in chess and your job in life, the thing that you do is farming. People won't go that this guy, he loves chess. They're just gonna say he's a farmer, So they have a label, and they get like, farming, it's not an intelligent thing, or it's not but as somebody who grew up out in the country, somebody who grew up working on a farm. My dad used to work on a farm, and there's a lot to farming, but people are not going to see that. People are not going to recognize that. It's people throw labels on you, and so sometimes in your mind, in the society we live in, you get caught up in labeling yourself, and you go, oh, who am I? Blah 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 blah. But I'm just here to tell you that you are. We all have an extraordinary. We all have gifts. We all have been blessed by the Creator to do great things. Doesn't matter what it is. Doesn't matter. It's up to you, you know. And I know sometimes you're like, I don't know. I don't. We all have doubts, you know. Sometimes we all have worries. We all have fears. We all have things going on inside of us. But I'm here to tell you, and the reason why I'm recording this episode today and talk about imposter syndrome, because I thought about it, you know. I was thinking about it this week, and I was like, I got to get back in there. I got to record, you know, 700 episodes. I'm like, 700 episodes. You know, if I do 300 in the year 2024, we'll be at 1,000 episodes. And I got to thinking to myself, I'm like, why would I feel like a fraud at this point? Why would I feel like an imposter at this point when we recorded 700 episodes? And, you know, not to toot my horn, but episode 701 is a lot better than episode 1. You know what I mean? And so there's been vast improvement, and there will always be more improvement, and there will always be growth, and there will always be things to help me get better, things to make me better, things to make you better. And so you have to look at it like that. Everything is not perfection. Is not you know, once you learn this, it doesn't matter what age you are. Once you learn this, you will go forth and you will be a whole lot better. Perfection is not gonna happen. Okay, there's never gonna be now. As I told you before, and I'll probably discuss this on. I've had one perfect day. It's in the world of trucking. I had one perfect day. One day where I said, I want to do this. I want to be here by this time. I want to go, and I don't want any problems. And I can remember the day like it was yesterday. I was in Texas. I wanted to go to my parents' house in Missouri. I wanted to be there before 5 o'clock. I wanted to get there in a short amount of time. It was 500 miles. I woke up early in the morning, like 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, something like that. Drove like 7, 8 hours maybe. Got there, wasn't any traffic. I got there before 3 o'clock. Called my parents. My mom made dinner. We had chicken, sweet potatoes, and rolls. And I got to spend time with them. And it was a great day. And there was one day I can say that while I was truck driving, it was absolutely perfect. There was no, and I had been driving. I've been driving for 18 years, and that's one day out of, God, many days, okay? And so there's never going to be listen, you want to write a movie? Write a movie. You want to write a book? Write a book. The main thing that you can do is whatever it is that you want to do is just move your feet. Start. Go somewhere. You're gonna feel like, what am I doing? I don't know what I'm doing. Blah 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 blah. But the beauty of it is, you're gonna grow. You're gonna improve. You know, you're gonna get better at it. I think about this show sometimes, and I think about, you know, recording, and I'm at a point now where I'm like, and you know what happens. I'm going to tell you something else. You know what happens? You know, because this you start to do something. You go, okay, because as you well know, I recorded for 60 days, maybe 90 days, maybe straight. I recorded. I didn't tell my wife. I didn't tell anybody. I just said I said, you know what? I'm just going to start something that I want to do, something that I always wanted to do. And I'm just going to do it. And I'm not going to say anything to anybody. I'm just going to record. Just going to upload these episodes on my own. And we're just going to take it from there. I started doing that. And, you know, I got better. And now, you know, episode 700 plus. Now I'm thinking, I need to get the sound better. I need to get this better. I need to get that better. We go into the world of overthinking, and then I go, man, how do I record 700 episodes? Who am I? And so you start this process, and it's just like the thinking is great, but overthinking is the killer of many of us. Okay, and so you don't want to overthink things. It's funny if you ever met somebody and you just like them. You have a feeling. You go, I like them. I would like to get to know them. I would like to get, and then you have that thought, but then you start doing the over. then you ask them out. Yeah, you say, hey, I'm interested in you. I like you. I think you're cute. Whatever people say these days. You say all that jazz, and they give you the number. Then you start the overthinking process. You go, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to thank them. Blah 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 blah. And so it happens. Overthinking is a killer. Overthinking is a big overthinking to drive you up the wall. I used to overthink a lot of things, but I definitely do not overthink things like I used to. Now, I'm in my 40s. I'm like, hey, it's going to be what it's going to be. You know what I mean? Like, you can't overthink. I remember when I was a kid, when I was a young boy, a young man, a young whippersnapper. When I was in high school, I would like a girl, find myself liking a girl, and I would think, what am I going to say? What am I going to do? Blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah. I'm giving you an example. Blah, 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 blah. How am I going to say it? What am I going to say? What am I going to meet him at? Blah, blah, blah. Then I had this brother who's I love my brother. I don't even know if he thinks it. I don't know if he thinks at all, but the one thing that I learned from my brother when it comes to like dating, and it's just thinking in at all, just thinking about things. My brother, he was sort of a ready aim, just fire away. He would see a girl that he liked. He would say, "Hey, let me talk to you real quick." He would give his spiel. They would say yes or no, and he would move on. And he would go, plenty of fish in the sea. And I'm like, how does he do that? And it's a silly story, but it just applies to anything in life that you want to do. You want to be a chess player. You want to get into golf. You want to get into, exercising. Don't overthink. Man, I'm gonna look crazy when I go to the gym. I haven't been to the gym, and listen, everybody looks crazy. Everybody looks crazy at whatever they want to do. Anything that you want to do in the beginning, you're gonna look like a nut. It's just the way it is, and it all goes back to the imposter syndrome. It's not gonna happen in the beginning, but once you get started, you're 3 months into the weightlifting. You're hulking up, and you go, who am I to have this body? Why am I trying to have this body? But you cannot worry about how you're gonna look. You cannot worry about what you can't worry about what's around you. You can't worry about how you're gonna look. And it really hit me when it came to me thinking about the podcast and who am I? And I thought to myself, man, everybody has a podcast, and you know what I said. I'm thinking to myself, I said, man, everybody has a podcast, but you know what? Their podcast is probably crap, okay? No offense. No offense to anybody with a podcast. But I'm thinking to myself, listen, I am me. And at the end of the day, that's all you can be. I am me. I am great. I know who I am. I know what kind of show I produce. I I I hope people like the show. I'm sure they like the show. I get comments here and there. And as we all know, sometimes when you're starting from the back of the bus, yeah, of course, we all know, listen, you do a show about marketing, ladies and gentlemen, you're not going to get a billion people to listen to it. Of course, I know that, you know that. But here's the thing. Doesn't matter what you want to do. You do what you want to do. You're going to get better at it. There's not a whole lot to it. You put the action into it. You put the work into it. You're gonna get better. So that's step 3. Don't overthink these things. Then there's gonna come a point that you're like, who am I? When you think that, sit back and you go, yeah, who am I? You know who I am? I'm X, Y, Z. Whatever you think is great about you, you say that. You can look in the mirror. You can just say it to yourself. Doesn't matter. Sometimes you have to have it. Sometimes, I hate to tell you this, sometimes you have to have a meeting with yourself. You have to say, let's bring it in. Not to get psychological on you, but sometimes you have to bring it in. You say, who am I? You go, yeah, who am I? You know who I am. I'm great. Okay? And it's not about, being conceited. It's not any of that. It's just about, hey, you want to do something, do it. And don't worry about who am I. You want to write that book, man, write that book. You want to be a filmmaker, be a filmmaker. Everybody has a chance to do what they want to do. You want to run a store, run that store. We all know that a lot of times people don't get started on things because they think, oh, I can't do that. Oh, I can't do it. Why not you? Why you can't do that? You can do whatever you want to do. Nothing's stopping you, lack of money. Hey, listen, you can find money. Money's around. Money floats. Money comes, money goes. Money comes, money goes. We've all had money, we've all been broke. We've all had money, we've all been broke, Money's there. It's up to you to figure out how to get it, how to receive it, how to get it. There's 100 ways around any situation, And at the end of the day, imposter syndrome is something. But, ladies and gentlemen, I will tell you this: as I've reflected the last month, you can't worry about. Once you get to it's bananas. It might happen to you, it might not, but when you get to a certain level, and you go, well, who am I? And you go, yeah, who am I? Same person who's been doing X, Y, Z, If you've been in the gym for 3 months and all of a sudden you go, I don't know, man, I'm working out, my body's changing. I don't know. Don't self-sabotage. Who are you? The same person who's been going to the gym for the last 3 months. Stick to it. You want to get in tip-top shape? Get in tip-top shape. You want to climb Mount Everest? Climb Mount Everest. Get ready for it. And don't say, man, who am I? Yes, who are you? You're great. That's who you are. At the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, everybody on God's green earth has an opinion. Everybody on God's green earth at some point has thought have thought they are smart about something. And so it doesn't matter what people think. It doesn't matter what they do around you. What matters is you. What matters is what you want to do. What matters is when are you going to do it? How are you going to do it? Why are you going to do it? What are you doing it for? That's the only thing that matters. Look inside. Look at yourself. Look into yourself. And the imposter syndrome will quickly go away, The imposter syndrome lasted maybe a day, when I was sitting there and I was thinking, I can't, 700 episodes, blah, 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 blah. And then it's funny this morning, before I go, you always get signs. You always get signs, I was half asleep. I woke up and I was like, I'm gonna record. And then I saw a text from my cousin, and she was texting me about the show. She's listening, and I said, you know what? I said, if that ain't a sign to keep it pushing, I don't know what to tell you. If that don't tell you, you know, an imposter, my man. You know what I'm saying? So whenever you feel like, what am I doing, or what am I worthy? Am I? Of course you are. Yes, you are. You know you are. And I say that, and it's funny that this episode is happening the day before New Year's Eve, or it's around that time. So if you listen to it today, tomorrow, or New Year's, listen, 2024, people say this, I know it's kind of cliche, but 2024, if you've ever felt like, I can't do this or I can't do that, I want you, and I'm not even trying to tell you what to do, but I'm going to tell you what to do right now. You look in the mirror, you just stand up, and you just spend 3 minutes with yourself, by yourself, and you just say, what are the great things that I've done in life? And there are plenty of great things. People don't realize little things, big things, it doesn't matter. We've all done great things in our life. Hey, you've helped somebody. You've helped somebody that's broke down on the side of the road, or you helped somebody cross the street, or you donated money. You've done great things already. And so a lot of times we don't think that the things that we do are great, because it comes from us. The biggest critic that you're ever going to have is yourself. I'm very hard on myself. I know that. My wife is hard. My wife is very hard on herself. I tell her sometimes, hey, relax. You're great. You know what I mean? Like, it's bananas how hard we are on ourselves. But if you take a step back and you just think like, hey, I've have done great things. I do great things. I'm a great person. Not that you want to. This is not a zip zam boo hoo ride, but you are great. You have done great things. There's always room for improvement. We all know that. Every day is an improvement. You want to improve in your life every single day. You want to get better at something every single day. I want to be a great husband. I work on it every day. I try to be, sweet to my wife, nice, loving, more affectionate. I love her. I want to be a great dad. I work on it every day. I love my little baby. I love my child every day. It's one of the main reasons why, I record, I write, I just want to be home every day, and I know I'm gonna get there, and I'm like, hey, I'm gonna be working from home soon, and I'm gonna be able to spend as much time I can with my baby until my baby says enough is enough is enough, Dad. I'm 17. I don't want to hang around you every day. I'm just kidding. I mean, it's gonna happen one day, but that's fine. But for now, I'm just here to tell you, hey, you're great. The imposter syndrome it can happen to you. Don't worry about it. Overthinking, it can happen to you. Don't worry about it. Stay away from it. We all listen. We've all done it. We've all done both. You try to step out of your comfort zone, and that's one thing that you have to do. Step out of your comfort zone. Never get this. This is one reason why relationships fail. You get comfortable with the person. Now, of course, you want to be comfortable with your spouse. You want to be comfortable with your girlfriend, your boyfriend, whoever, whatever you date, whatever the spectrum you fall on. Doesn't matter. But one thing that you don't want to do, you are comfortable with the person, but you never want to get to a point where you take them for granted, because listen, you don't realize how great somebody is sometimes until you lose the person. Okay? So don't never ever take a relationship for granted. If you've been with this person for 20 years, if you've been with them for 5 months, don't take them for granted. It's a beautiful thing, these relationships. Listen, listen, kids. I'm trying to help you out. Okay. I enjoy being married. I love being married to my wife. I like getting on the phone with my wife, calling my wife up every. Just the other day, I was sitting around. And I said, "Let me call my wife." Just to shoot the breeze, and everything doesn't have to be. Everything doesn't have to be. We have a baby, and one thing. Now we're going into a different. sit back, kids. Sit back, everybody, as I'll talk to you about relationships right now, okay? Imposter syndrome over with. Listen, imposter syndrome, overthinking, don't do it, okay? Imposter syndrome, it's something that can happen to you, but listen, I'll tell you right now, hey, man, you can do whatever you want to do, okay? But now I'm going to talk to you about relationships real quick. For the year 2024, listen. This is what I want you to do. Whoever you're dating, whoever you like somebody, you really like somebody, you really enjoy them, you really care about them. Today, get on the phone. It doesn't have to be about anything. Or write them a note, write them a letter, call them up, walk up to them and say, hey, I appreciate you so much. And the reason why you want to do that, and they're going to look at you, trust me. Every night that I call my wife up out of the blue, and I say, I'll send her a message, hey, you're a great wife, you're a great mom. I appreciate you a lot, I try to do this more and more, because, listen, relationships are hard. Relationships are hard, but the hardest, it's easy to fall in love. So easy to fall in love with him. You can fall in love, If me and you was on the desert island, me and you, a woman, of course. I like women, so sorry. No offense to you gentlemen, but whatever your preference is, how about that? Whatever your preference is, you get somebody on the island, after a few months, you can fall in love with anybody. Hardest thing about falling in love is staying in love, okay? It's not hard. The problem with the world is now, we're so busy trying to look at other things. You're trying to look at this person. You want to look at that person. You're looking at that relationship, this relationship, those relationships. Look at your relationship. Focus on what you should be doing with your spouse, with your girlfriend, with your boyfriend. Look at them and say, what can I do to make this relationship better? Everything's not going to be 100%. Everything's not going to be perfect. Everything's not going to be, they're not going to do 100% of the things that you want them to do. It's just the way it is. I'm sure my wife would want me to be much more romantic than what I am. I'm not the most romantic person in the world. Newsflash, okay? I try. I love my wife to death. I love her to pieces. It's just sometimes I don't have that. I don't have the thing where I'm like, honey, I signed up for this class. I'm taking you out to dinner at 9:00. Put on your favorite dress. I'm not that person. She knows it. I know it. I try, but it's just not who. But I love her anyway. She know I love her to death. I love my wife more than I ever loved any other. Well, newsflash. My wife is the first woman that I truly loved, and was like, hey, I want to be with this woman. You know what I mean? So, but. I probably would never tell her that, but I'm telling you. But the point is, relationships are hard, but you don't have to make them out to be as hard as they should be. Because the main thing you should do, don't focus on the outside world. Don't focus on other relationships. Focus on what you can do to be better. And the better that you do with your spouse, with your girlfriend, with your boyfriend, the more you pour into them, they will in turn say, you know what, they are doing, they are amazing. I'm going to pour more into them, and you will see a difference. You don't have to say anything about it. You don't have to walk in the door. You don't have to make announcements. You don't have to do none of that. You just say, You just start. Whether it be one thing that I learned and one thing I just stopped doing. I used to make announcements like, I wash the dishes. I would say that. I didn't mean anything by it, but my wife was like, you ain't got to announce every time you do something. I go, you know what? You're right. I'm going to stop doing that. So I just stopped doing it. Just like, if I see her gas on empty, I mean, I know I joke around with my wife. Her gas tank is always on empty, but I don't, I ain't mad at her. I ain't mad at her for that. You know what I mean? I just don't want her to, run out of gas. Because, a lot of times you get upset with somebody that you love, not because of you annoyed or anything like that, but I just don't want my wife to be in harm, in danger or anything like that. So I don't want her to be stuck on the side of the road running out of gas. So that's why I get annoyed about that. But so that's another thing. Sometimes we get annoyed with people that we love because we love them and you want the best for them. And so it's different, but the thing is, you just start doing stuff. Stuff that they don't do, you go, let me do stuff that they like. You say, let me start trying to, let me do this. And you don't have to make an announcement. You don't have to make a grand gesture. You don't have to announce it to the world. You just start doing it, and the more you start doing stuff like that, and the more you just really focus in on your relationship, you focus in on whether it be your relationship, business relationships, friendships, doesn't matter. The more you just focus in on them and say, let me start doing this stuff. Let me start doing this stuff. You will get that back 100 times. Okay. And so relationships are hard. Yes, they are. But you do your part, and I guarantee you the other person will do their part. And if they don't do their part, after a while, you say you don't have to say anything. It's move on time, or it's hey, you have a discussion, But give it a few months. You don't have to say a whole lot. You just start doing stuff, and they will be very appreciative of you, and you will see it. 99% of the time, you'll see it. It doesn't. So you don't have to, you probably won't have to come to that point. Not because people do great things, but they're not gonna do everything that you want them to do, and that's just how it is, So you have to just remember that, and you'll be okay. And so, ladies and gentlemen, since I already recorded it a month, I think let's make this episode long. But we talked about imposter syndrome, and we discussed relationships. So there you go. I hope you had a great Christmas. Hope you had a happy Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, the whole holiday season. Happy New Year's to you and yours. We will be back. Listen, I know we talked about recording less and all that kind of stuff, but we're just gonna let it play out the way it plays out. We'll be back. We're gonna be rip roaring for the year 2024. We're gonna give you more. We're gonna give you more. Hey, we ain't gonna stop this train. We're gonna keep this train moving, So I love you. I appreciate each and every one of you listening. We will be back in 2024 with an all new episode of Online Marketing Moves. But until then, my name is Tony Rizano. And as always, everybody, peace.